Thank you for inviting me to this conference honoring Leo in the country that has always held such a special place for Leo and Melanie. Leo couldn't wait to come to Greece and get into the intense but always comradely theoretical and political arguments and debates with his Greek comrades. All the more so if this came with platefuls of seafood and too much to drink. He loved to walk the streets of Athens, whether day or night. And as his close friend Michael Spirtolakis said, he always raced ahead, as if walking faster might get him to socialism sooner. He agreed that the philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point is to change it. But what shines through in everything that Leo has said, written, and done was his insistence to not underestimate the revolutionary importance of the intellectual struggle to adequately interpret and understand the world. Similarly, against the maxim of optimism of the will, but pessimism of the intellect, Leo stubbornly insisted on an optimism of the intellect. It's our intellectual ability to imagine a different world, come to grips with its reality and its contradictions, and to think strategically about how to transform it that makes the optimism of the will into a sustained social force rather than a pious hope. This need to understand the world led Leo to take the historical and historical materialism especially seriously. An appreciation of history as not just the passing of time, but the uneven evolution of conditions highlights that everything is open to change, including our categories of understanding and strategies for social transformation. Living in a period shaped by the profound defeats of working classes and the left, Leo appreciated Marx's admonition, to quote, to return to glorifying the new struggles, not to parodying the old, of magnifying the given task of the imagination, not recoiling from its solution in reality, of finding once more the spirit of revolution, not making its ghost walk again. This optimism of both the intellect and of the will depended on the evolution of a social force capable of making our dreams a reality. The Communist Manifesto looked to the working class to fulfill this revolutionary task. But some decades earlier, Saint-Simon had already posed the most difficult questions this raised. He asked, since the worker is exploited materially, intellectually, and morally, can the worker develop his intellectual faculties and moral desires? And then he most distressingly added, can he even desire to do so? Addressing this most fundamental of political challenges was what distinguished the socialism that drove Leo from its social democratic variations. How to place the central focus of socialist politics on unmaking the deformed working classes capitalism had created. How to overcome the fragmentation of workers, their permanent exhaustion, the pragmatism that was induced by the demands of daily survival, and above all, how to overcome their dependence on capital to mediate social labor. That is, how to remake workers into a confident and coherent social force with a vision beyond capitalism and the analytical, strategic, and organizational capacities that could bring that vision to life. This necessitated not just political transformations in workers and their class, but also cultural ones that could only emerge unevenly and over extended periods of time. Socialism is absolutely necessary now, yet it can't be built without the patience to struggle, build, persist across generations, and a readiness to, as Marx said, deride with unmerciful thoroughness the inadequacies of their first attempts. Leo, the sober optimist and the anti-utopian struggled with this contradiction between the timescale of socialism and the timescale of our lives, but it never deterred him. He died as angry as ever over what capitalism did to human potentials, and as determined as ever to search for how we might best respond. What could be better than to live life as if socialism was possible? What could be more meaningful than to enjoy one's life to its fullest, all its rich dimensions, while also working with comrades and struggling alongside comrades to contribute to the eventual achievement of an egalitarian, democratic world that only others might come to see? Can one get any closer to immortality than this?